Hey everybody, this is MVLEI. So we are going live. Trying to have that conversation as to what's going on with Nancy Guthrie. Starting from the beginning. We are on part 6. Please come and join this channel. So there's not a lot of information, but there is some. So once we get some people in here, we'll go ahead and start having that conversation. Just waiting for some people to come in here so we can have that discussion. You all know my background in law enforcement. I am just giving you my perspective in law enforcement, my time as a law enforcement. I've done many investigations, many interrogations, many translations, and I'm sure we could always do better, but there's definitely some things that could have been done better, in my opinion. So, saying that, just looking for individuals who want to have that conversation. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and like the YouTube channel if you like the live, and so we can grow and continue to have more discussions. We know that there's going to be a lot of stuff going on right now, a lot of stuff. I tried logging on earlier, and for some reason there was, I don't know, a glitch or something, because it kept not wanting to stream. But it looks like it's back working pretty good. So let's go ahead and have it. Okay, waiting for a few more people to come in, everybody. Just waiting for a few people to come in. I know there's always people in the background really just want to listen and not get too involved. As far as, having that discussion or whatnot. I get it. It's all good. But if you really want to engage and want to figure out what really happened to Nancy, where are we at? Where does everything stand at this point? This is a time to go ahead and have that conversation. I am currently in Northwest Ohio. If anybody's in right now, tell me where you're at, if you don't mind, and let's have that conversation. Hoorah. Semper Fi. That's just a Marine Corps thing that I always like to display and do, because that's what it's all about for me. All right, who we got in here? Got to get my glasses on. All right, siblings, hey, hi, how you doing? I'm in New Hampshire, says siblings. Good to have you. Appreciate you being here. Hoorah, first person in the house, at least out here chatting. So here's the deal. So we're trying to figure out, try to give you information on to what is going on in the Nancy Guthrie case. Trying to get ideas from you all. This is part 6. There's been obviously 5 other lives. If you haven't seen them, they're very detailed, have a lot of information. May be surprised at what you find. So if you want to go ahead and watch those when you get a chance, they are uploaded. You're more than happy to watch them. And you're more than happy to obviously engage today, right now, so that we can go ahead and talk to see what we can figure out. It's just that simple. That's all. Just that simple. back up right here. Give me a second. It is very, very bright today. Earlier I went on, and for whatever reasons, I couldn't have the luxury of streaming. Woo, that sun is bad. There you go. Maybe that's a little better. Siblings, yay, is in the house. All right, cool. So there's still a lot of stuff out there with Nancy Guthrie and what is going on. And then as far as the actual investigation, it is really stagnant right now. Really, truly stagnant. And it's like this is the worst state to be in, the worst stage of an investigation, because everything looks like it is just still, there's nothing happening. There's nothing, like no new information is coming out. Delta's in the house. Good to have you, Delta. Salisbury, yeah, no doubt. Delta, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So there is not a lot of information that's being coming out, It's been quiet. It's been very quiet. Delta guy. Siblings, yay, said I did too. Raw, Semper Fi, both of you. I appreciate you guys. So, trying to get information and you're coming into a stagnant situation, it really is hard, because not only do you have families that are looking for help, but you have families that they don't know where else to turn either. Okay? They don't know where else to turn. They're wondering what is going on, what is happening. And there's nothing you can really tell them. There's nothing you can really say. So I want to cover some of the things that I have read up on. So give me 1 second. I got to come in here for a second, and I'll be right back. Do not go nowhere. Sibling says, my dad might join. Hey, man, have him come in. Let's have that conversation. Everybody's welcome. Everybody. For this Marine, everybody has a say. We all have ideas and thoughts and theories. So let's make it happen. You got it. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. right, everybody, I'm back. Just so you all know, I'm going to be in and out of my vehicle, but it's not because I forgot about you all. It's just because that's what I do. So for whatever it's worth, just bear with me and we'll go from there. So who's all in here now? Let's see. All right. Let me see. Siblings. Hey. Siblings, yay. Hoorah. Yes, I'm back. Yay. Awesome. Who's this? Boy, we got a lot of nice little pictures there. I'm not sure what they all mean, but I know we're all excited. I am excited to have all of you. No, I know we don't like waiting. It's just that, sometimes we just got to pay the bills, right? That's how it works. All right, everybody. So who else? Okay. So the latest information. Hart is in the house. Good to have you, Hart. Good morning. Good morning. Appreciate you being here. So there's a lot of stuff still out there, but there's not a lot of necessarily new things that are moving. Okay. And what I mean by that is there's nothing that's coming out that is saying, hey, this is we got a new suspect. There is no new suspect. Hell, fact of the matter is there is no new person of interest at this point right now. Gene's in the house. Good to have you. Good morning, Gene. Appreciate you being here. What we do have is I was reading up on some things with Nanos and, things that he has commented and said in reference to, he has literally said that the people are upset at Nanos. First of all, let's just be frank and honest. People are upset because Nanos, they feel, has really dropped the ball in this search. Okay, he has dropped the ball, and to some extent, yes, I totally get it. I understand, no doubt about it. There's been mistakes literally that are made that you just can't afford to make. Okay, that's just without saying. But Nanos is under fire, and there is a recall petition that the people have submitted to get him out of office because he is an elected official. Siblings, yay, says, how is your day and do you have a family? Well, of course. I shouldn't say we all, but yes. To answer your question, yes. This Marine is very, very happy. Thank you for asking. I appreciate you. So, and these glasses, they're just my reading glasses, so bear with me, okay? But yeah, that's what's going on. Nanos knows he's under fire. He's been asked numerous times because he cannot get any information. There's nothing else he can give to the people. Not that he gave anything anyway, but there's not a whole lot he can go ahead and tell the people to give them some reassurance that this case will be solved, right? So that's why there's a lot of tension right now. And they are getting him recalled. Whether or not they'll get it, I'm sure they will. They'll get the signatures that they need. I don't know if it's 120,000 or 200,000, but they're going to get their signatures, okay? Because they're not happy. And Nanos knows it. He knows this is coming down. Now, there is some news as far as, and I covered it towards the later part of yesterday, that they did have some DNA. The investigators did have DNA, and they are having it tested currently right now. Some DNA from the house. Now, you got to remember, That's really crucial, that DNA. And they're not going to tell us anything about that DNA because that's a major part of the case. So I would not expect to hear anything about that DNA unless it's saying, hey, we have an arrest made. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I guess what I'm saying is don't hold your breath to getting more information, because right now we ain't getting nothing. And if it comes to that, we definitely are not going to get a whole lot. God, the sun is so bright. Gene says, supposedly, since he lied on his application about the past, nanos, that he really needs a recall. Can't be removed because of that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. He did stretch the story or didn't tell the full story on his application. He was endorsed by the previous sheriff. Okay, the previous sheriff didn't endorse him, and that's pretty much why he got that job. He worked for the previous, I think it's Dupnick. He worked for that sheriff who has worked in Pima County for like 35 years. And when you're in that long, you have a lot of sway. So he worked under him, learned under Dupnick, and then Dupnick endorsed him and he won. However, I have read some things that Dupnick is not really per se happy with how Nandos has handled this case. I guess they had a fallout, but Dupnick has not served anymore because he retired. He did like 35 years, which is a long time for a sheriff. Okay, so Sibling Gray says, my mom passed away a month ago and you helped me a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sibling Gray. Thank you. I'm glad I'm able to give you some not just condolences, but also to give you some hope in whatever that may be. And understand that, I lost both of my parents. And it is a big change in life, right? It's a big change in life. You don't realize it until it happens. But kudos to you. Thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate you. Where were you an officer at? What area? Well, I served as an officer in Oklahoma. I served as a sergeant in Oklahoma. And I served as a chief in Ohio. So, and in that area that I served as a chief, we had a canine and so forth and so forth. So yes, those are the two places I served. I served in the United States Marine Corps as well. So that's my claim to fame, if you will. But I loved it. It was great. Very political, but I loved it anyway. So thank you for asking. Do you wake up in the morning and feel low class? Do I wake? I'm not sure what you're asking there. 3.2 XDO, if this is a troll or not. I have no idea. I'm not sure what do you wake up in the morning and feel low class? No, I feel as proud as I am since the day I got out of the Marine Corps. That's what I feel. Very proud. Very proud. Very proud. Gene says, and thank you for your service. You got it, Gene. It was my others, but it was my honor. Give me a second. I got this off here. Give me a second. So I'm back. So I know that a lot of people want to spam and have all these, make comments. It don't bother me. Been there, done that. Dealt with people all my life, so that don't bother me. Yes, Sibling Gray, I am very happy. I am thankful. I am very thankful. I'm very blessed. And I am very happy. And I'm very thankful to God for everything I have gotten and received and done in my lifetime. And that's how I roll. Because here's the thing. You can always look back and have regrets. But what's the point of looking back? What's the point of looking back if you know you can't change the past, right? And through. You got to keep powering through every day. All right. So that's where we're at. Nanos hasn't really given anything. He's under the gun. I watched a segment with an interview with Brian Enton and the past sheriff, Nubik, and he apparently they did have a falling, but he didn't like how this case was going. And the questions that were asked to him were, so should we go ahead and have like another search? I know we had a search, but it wasn't a really big search. And his thing was, which I've said this numerous times, matter of fact, I'll just be frank and honest, everything he said, almost to the dime, I have already expressed this in my lives. So I am comfortable to say exactly what he said. And he said, there's going to be information that's going to be kept because same thing as I told you all before, they want to be able to identify the perp and the suspect by some things that he would say that only he would know. Okay. So that is one. I've said that all along. We're not going to hear certain things because certain things are meant to be able to box in the suspect and or the perp, right? That's just how it works. However, he has felt, this is the previous sheriff when interviewed by Brian Enton, he has said that doing a search now, a full-scale search, is really almost useless. And this is why he says that. I mean, he didn't say useless, but he said it wouldn't be logical. And I'm paraphrasing here. Because of the fact that there's been so much rain, there's been people walking everywhere, there's been wind blowing like crazy, and all that happens when that stuff happens disturbs the potential where a body could be, where a body might be. It's just, there's a lot there, okay? There's a lot there. And the idea is that, you can't go back and put everything the way it was because stuff may not be there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff may not be there. Drop this off here. What is that? Sorry, buddy. Give me a second. There we are. So that's a lot of what he has said. He wasn't pretty happy as to what has happened. Give me that sec. Okay. So that's where that's at. Now, I can tell you that there is not a lot of other things. Now, the previous sheriff did not like the fact that the sheriff wasn't given a whole lot of information. That was frustrating because he should have given a little bit. But he does have to hold stuff back, is what the previous sheriff was saying, which, I've said it all along. Give something to the people, things that are not going to compromise the case, but instead will make and get the people to feel like at least something's being done, right? That's how it works. That's how you get people to trust in the things that you're doing. You give them something little that's not going to compromise the case. But that little is literally been almost zero. And that doesn't help anybody. It just doesn't. Israel says, greetings from Israel. Greetings. Good to have you. Thank you for being here. Gene says, I still can't believe no one out in that neighborhood has any video or had seen anything around there, considering a lot of them walk around there, walk their dogs, etc. Most of them retired. Gene also says, and I get that, but if you don't want the public to look and help, what are we looking for? That's exactly right. I mean, I've never known anybody not to accept help, especially from the public, okay? And so the idea of not wanting them to help, it's not like when they're helping, it is not like they're going, down inside Nancy's house or around her house and they're going to be looking for information. I mean, let's be realistic here. The sheriff Nanos makes it seem like he's afraid people are going to compromise things. Really? I mean, what do you think is going to happen? What does he think? That people are just going to walk up to the house and step all over evidence and all that? Come on. That's ridiculous. So I'm not sure why you would ever turn down help from the people, because see, here's the whole thing. In policing, you want the people to help you. You want to bring in the people. You want them to get involved. You know why? Because that's what makes that community get closer. That's what makes the community literally get closer and helps that community deal with this and be more together. That's how it works. It's in essence, it's community policing. That's what they do. So the idea of going ahead and literally not going ahead and doing the things you need to do, well, I just never heard of anybody turning away help. Fact of the matter is, it's like I said the other day, everybody, you want every bit of every law enforcement entity, from Tucson PD, Tucson OHP, close municipalities, hell, even maybe some firemen. You want everybody to help search. You know why? Because they have a little bit more skin. In other words, they have a little bit more, when you and I go searching, right? We can't go to private properties, right? We can't go to private properties when literally, if they say no trespassing, we can't just walk on people's land, right? But law enforcement, they can go and knock on people's doors and say, hey, we're looking for X, Y, and Z, and this is why we need to go ahead and go and check this out. Are you okay with that? Now, if they start giving a big fuss, well, they'll find a way to whether it's, seeking maybe a search warrant or something, just depending on the body language. But most of the times when people are dealing with law enforcement, they're going to comply most of the time. Not always, but most. So that's another thing. This should have been done from the very beginning. And going back to what the ex-sheriff has said was of Pima County was that right now to do a full-blown scale, it would be meaningless. You know, the winds have already shifted the sand. Footprints could be already gone. You know, the rain has literally everything, all the elements that you can't control have already distorted the evidence. I guess is the best way to put it. See what we got here. A Song says, I don't see how no one else has doorbell footage or any footage of cars going by, not at Annie's house or anywhere. You know what's funny, Song? What's funny is that, you know, there were some people that refused to give their camera information to the investigators. I mean, technically they don't have to, but I think they got more footage. We've seen a lot of the cars of footages, right? We've seen a lot of cars going back and forth. But there was a couple of neighbors of Nancy, or I should say at least one for a fact, that refused to give her camera as evidence just so they can go through it. And you ask the question, why? I mean, this lady's your neighbor. Why would you not want to help? But you're right. You know that they're getting a lot of information from these cameras. So all of a sudden, now everybody's saying, oh, we don't have, you know, any cameras, or we don't have any information. Come on. How is that possible? How is it possible? I don't get why they don't back in to look for more DNA. You know, that's why I was saying about the blue Dodge Charger that went there, that had got stopped. That's what I was saying about that as well. I don't think anybody has literally went ahead and checked that thoroughly. I don't think anybody has used anything as far as like forensics or check for fingerprints. So yeah, I don't see that either. And I'm with you. You know, it's almost like right now we are at a standstill, I guess is the best way to put it. Nilburn's in the house. I like how new footage keeps coming out that was there all along. All it seems like a distraction. Very could be, and very well could be. Ha 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 says hello, nice to have you. If you guys are new, make sure you like and subscribe this stream if you like it. Love to have you. Doesn't cost anything. Just be a part of the team. Amateur Views. Hello. How you doing, Amateur Views? Good to have you. Haha says, sup? What's going on, my friend? So that's really what's happening. And the idea of thinking that we're going to get more than that is, like I said, I think the only time we're going to hear the golden nuggets that we're wanting is when they already made an arrest. If that's even possible, to be honest. So that speaks volume. Song says, did you have coffee and breakfast this morning? No, I didn't, Song. I didn't. Yeah, I just got up and go, man. Got up and go. That's what I did. But thanks for asking. Where are you from? Northwest Ohio. Haha, Northwest Ohio. That's where I'm from. It is very bright right now. Sun just came up. It's supposed to be a nice 60-degree weather day today, which is great for our area. And yeah, it's looking nice today. What do you think about the 800,000 acres of our cropland that burned up in Nebraska? Well, honestly, I've been so much focused on this that I haven't been watching a lot of others, but it doesn't surprise me. I think it's sad. I think these people have lost a lot. Literally, these farmers have lost a lot. And I think that somehow, they need to be helped. So because they are people who provide a lot of our foods. a lot of the grains and things that we use on a daily basis. So I do believe we need, the government needs to step in and give them a hand, especially when it was maybe out of their control. Haha says, I'm Saudi. Nice to meet you. Well, good to meet you, Saudi. Good to have you. Yeah, that's what I would say about that. No burn. I will look at that, but yeah, I've been so focused on what's going on here that, yeah, it's just trying to catch everything. It's like you lose your mind in today's world. Let me go get something here. Give me a second. So yeah, that's what we're seeing, and I don't understand how there's not more information, how there's not more pictures, how there's not more videos. I mean, I told you guys yesterday, I can't believe that there's nothing in there that talks about Tommaso dropping off Nancy Guthrie, his mother-in-law. There's no photos or pictures of that either. So, it's only common sense if someone's going to ask the question, did it really happen, right? It would only make sense. You would not be doing your job if you didn't ask that question. Did she really make it home that day? Yeah, I'm drinking some water. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thank you for the concern, Song. I appreciate that. I am drinking water. I just haven't really, ever since I left the Marine Corps many years ago and being in law enforcement, my life has been on the go 24/7, on the go, literally. And yeah, so it's not unusual that I'm constantly on the go. It's never really a breakfast eater, but of course in the military you eat breakfast because it's free. So yeah, I mean, but thank you for that. I appreciate you looking out for me. Thank you. It means a lot. Nilburn says, what do you think about, yes, we covered that. See, and yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point, Song. That's a good point. And I wanted to say this the other day and I didn't. They've got a lot of information. Matter of fact, even when I was hearing the interview with the previous sheriff, he told Brian Enton that they have a lot of information. Now, here's the kicker. You can't just go out and tell the public this information because we don't know how grotesque it is. We don't know how bad it is. We don't know, to what extreme is it, right? I mean, you follow me? We don't know how, I don't think we're just talking about a little bit of blood here and there. I don't think we're talking about just, a little bit of something here, a little bit of something there. I think the picture of the evidence that they have gathered, I bet you is very disturbing. And I think I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that the reason they don't want to say a whole lot about it is because of the fact that, well, they don't want to present that or give that out and have the family hear about some of this evidence, which I totally understand and I totally respect, because, I mean, we don't know what it is. But I can tell you this, there's a lot of evidence. There is a lot of evidence that they have. But who better than to, when someone calls in, who's better to talk to when they give you that evidence that nobody knows, and they tell you, hey, go check this out. Hey, go check that out. Hey, we did this, this, and that. Now you know only the perps would have known that, right? I mean, and now you know how you have to attack it. And when you get that suspect in and you bring him in and you question him and you ask him these questions that only a perp would know, and he says something gets out of step, or gets out of his comfort zone, and he says something by mistake, guess what? Now you know you got something. You know what I mean? So I totally agree. Totally agree. But it's just some of those things they're never going to tell us. And we may never know, to be honest. Song says, or was there enough blood to end life, and also the blood on the porch have nasal mucus? Right. I mean, that's the key. How much blood was it? Was it enough that it happened right there from the get-go? If we're talking, I don't want to be graphic here, but if we're talking puddles of blood, that could be very graphic, right? If we're talking about her pacemaker going dead, her pacemaker dying, for better lack of words, why and how much are we talking about that evidence that's there? You know what I mean? So there is a lot, no doubt about it, Song. There's a lot there that I don't know if they're just trying to not be so, I don't know how to word it other than to say, I wonder if they're just trying to not let the family think like we would think if we heard exactly what they had or how much it was. You know what I mean? That's a very good question. Mucus, you got it. Was there any mucus? Was it, coagulated? The copies did in the 3 that were in the army in the 3 that were in the army what I was saying is, those hats behind me, those are my pride and joy. Song, no doubt about it. I mean, and even when they talked to that previous sheriff, he said they have a lot of evidence. Now take that with a grain of salt, because he's not in law enforcement, that previous sheriff, anymore. So he's not going in there able to see what's going on, right? He's not able to go in there and go see what's going on. So we take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, but Harrison, thank you for being in here. Don't forget, click like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Man, I love the people that have been coming in. We have been growing. I love it, because for me, I love having this conversation. If you don't know anything about me by now, I am very personable. Very personable. I give everybody the platform to say and speak whatever they have to, whatever they feel they need to, because all our voices matter, period. That's just how I roll. But going on, they following you. Yeah, those hats are following me. They're there. They're behind me. They're always with me. My brothers in arms. But yeah, I had 3 brothers in the Army. I had 1 brother in the Marine Corps. A lot of nephews that were 2 in the Marines, 3 in the Marines, 1 in the Navy. It's just a family-orientated military service. You know what I'm saying? That's how we roll. Very proud of my family and all their sacrifices and their dedication to our country by serving in our military. Amen. With you had been in law enforcement, have you ever seen a similar situation? Well, I can tell you, we worked a case. I'm not going to go in specifics, but we worked a case that dealt with a lady in her want to say late 70s, maybe early 80s, who was literally sexually assaulted at her home. She was the only one that lived there, and we had to we caught the perp, and he was wasted, but it was like for $5.60. And then her son, who was probably in his 50s, came over, and we had to explain to him what happened. That was kind of rough. We had that. We had a situation with somebody going in and doing a slaying, trying to take out two twin brothers who weren't necessarily good people, but I mean, no one deserves to be taken out of this world, but yeah, I've worked some cases like this, yes, and missing people. We work, most of the time the missing people are just people who left the nursing home, walked out, walked away. There has been some that have young youth have run away. So yeah, we work these cases. Something like an abduction for ransom, I can't tell you I've worked something like that because I haven't. But as far as extremes, been there. And then of course you take classes, a lot of classes to understand how you would handle something like that. But I appreciate that question, Gene. I really do. That, and I had my fair share. Believe me, I had my fair share of big cases, and you know what? To somebody, every case is a big case, I guess is the best way to put it, to be honest. Big John's is in the house. Does everyone in America drive with a cracked windshield like on TV? I don't. I don't. I know better. No, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, there's some people that do, and those are the ones that get stopped for the meaningless things and get caught for the stupidest things, right? But yeah, I think that happens quite a bit. Did I ever see that? Numerous times. Numerous times. People joking, but they say as long as it's just a small crack and it's not veering off in many directions, right? There's a scale that they use. It cannot be spiraled out to a certain extent, then technically it's not illegal. But if it starts just spray out, or I don't want to say spray out, but fray out, where you have a lot of cracks going in the wheel, yeah, then that's illegal because they're saying you can't see properly. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I hope I answered that question. Song says, they said her pacemaker went offline or stopped sending signal. Her pacemaker didn't have anything to Bluetooth. Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that. They did say that, and yeah. I've seen a lot of interviews with people who work in that field, and I'll be honest, there's so many different takes, so many different variations, because there's so many different types of pacemakers that all do different things. I mean, we know pacemaker as in, your heart stops, it's like a Kickstarter, right? But there's a lot of other ones that do so much different things. So to really get to which pacemaker was it, what kind was it, what it was supposed to do, how was it supposed to perform, does it read anything if the heart is not beating? All those things are very important. And so the idea of trying to go ahead and literally understand that concept, well, that's a little different, you know what I mean? But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. And I do remember hearing that. So you're right on the money. You're on top of this case. Make no mistake, you are on top of this case. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me drop this off here real quick. Give me a second. Oh. So yeah. So very good questions, no doubt. Love it. Love these questions. I'm backing up. Just give me a second. All right, all right. So that's where we're at there. Let me see. Okay, let me see where we're at. Gene says, yeah, but there had workers over there in and out. So are they seeing the blood? Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that because those are one of the things that they just don't tell us anything, right? So we're trying to figure this out, kind of like exactly what you're saying. And I mean, how do you get that information? You know, I mean, it'd be nice because it would open some understanding of what really happened and how bad it did happen. Is Florida man a real thing? Asking for Australia. Is Florida man a real thing? I have no idea. I'm not from Florida, so I don't know. I have no clue. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I know there's a lot of YouTubes in trouble from Florida. I know there's a lot of crying people who do crime stories from Florida who are in trouble, but you know, I don't know, to be honest. Big John's. Laughing out loud. I have a cracked. This is from Gene says, I have a cracked windshield on my spare car. I need to replace. It's big, but not interfering with the sight. Told my daughter to be careful driving with it. Yeah, she should be okay. If you have one crack to I forgot what the length is, but if you have one crack, it's not a big issue. It's only when it starts to spiral. So you should be good, Gene. You should be good. I wouldn't worry about it unless the looks of it matters. Then I would definitely, you know, at some point get it fixed. But you're okay. I don't see any harm, to be honest. Is there such a thing as a Florida woman? Come on, Big Johns. A Florida woman. You're coming up with this crazy shit, man. But to tell you all was that interview that I heard yesterday, and it was really eye-opening because a lot of what that previous sheriff, Niptag, I can't remember exactly how you pronounce his name. It's kind of funky. A lot of the things he said, I've covered in my life. So I was really like, wow. I mean, it hit home with me because, I mean, it was everything I thought it would be. Everything I thought I was pretty much right on the money. See, so now what is happening? The worst thing that could happen is the case goes stagnant, right? And that's unfortunately where we're at right now. Everything has gone stagnant. I mean, you can hear crickets out there. It's gone that stagnant. Do I think they're working on some people in the background? Yes. Do I think we're going to end up knowing about them? Not until they have somebody that they've already arrested and you see the breaking news. I hate to say that, but honestly, anything that they gave us, if they gave us a perp with the name a perp, a person of interest, a suspect, I think it's going to be when they make the arrest. And that kind of sucks because we're all waiting to see what's going to happen, right? and we're not seeing it happen. And that's the hard part. That's why you always want to give as much as you can to the people so they can feel like at least something is being done, and they can have confidence and faith in their department, in their sheriff, in their chief, whatever it may be. All right. Let's see. Somebody wrote something. Big John's, you could Google it and find out, my friend. Gene, I was watching. What kind of vehicle? The white Kia Soul. What kind of vehicle was it? Was it the white Kia Soul or was it the blue one, the Dodge Charger? Gene, if you can help me with that, I appreciate it. Thank you. Bullhorn Betty, got you. Look dark colored. Okay. And did they have a date when you saw that? I mean, did they have a date or any idea of when they saw that dark colored vehicle by any chance? Because that's what I've been trying to find out, is when a certain vehicle got into was sold by one of the person of interest, and I can't find that for nowhere. And it was a person that was hanging outside the window screaming for help. You know, I can't find any information as to what time the 911 call was made, to the point of what time did they actually get stopped, you know? You know what I mean? She seen it in the background. She found it. Well, that would be interesting. Can you send me a pic of it? If you could send me a pic, email me a pic, it'd be great. People are saying it's Tiguan. A Tiguan? Okay. Yeah, if you could send me a pic of it, that would be great. No, this one, the one that I'm looking for is a blue Dodge Charger. VW, gotcha. Okay. No worries, no worries. Yeah, you know, here's the thing. The problem with not having any information is that we're looking for, it's like looking for a diamond in a rough, right? How do you know what, I mean, it's like looking for something that you know is valuable, but you don't know what you're looking for. Are we looking for a nugget of gold? Are we looking for a diamond? Are we looking for money? Are we looking for, what are we looking for? You know? And so we know it's valuable, but we just can't, we don't know what it is. So our eyes are just scanning everywhere, and our brain is telling us all these different things because we don't have any concrete information to what they have given us. That's just the best I can put it, you know? So what do y'all think? What do you all think? Song, Gene, all of you all that are in here, do you have any clues on to what you think could have happened? Ha, anything. NH, you know, anything anybody has could have happened. What might have happened? I mean, I know a lot of you are following the case. I know a lot of you are following the case. So then the question becomes, what is it that we're missing? What is it that we're not seeing? What is it that we're not, you know, focusing on? I mean, because there's so much. What is the topic of conversation? Where is Nancy Guthrie? Where's Nancy Guthrie? Going back to the beginning, part 6. That is the topic. I think it was a hit, says Gene. I think the random notes were not legit. Might be why it's so quiet with the feds. I mean, you can't rule that out. No doubt about it, Gene. That's very good plausible. That's a plausible scenario. You know, I guess then the one thing we have to ask is, why would they do a hit on an 84-year-old woman? Why would somebody do a hit on her? I mean, what could possibly an 84-year-old woman have that is worth jeopardizing your freedom to go ahead and unalive her? You know what I mean? Gene said, the border. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but how, did they know? Did they know what house they were going to? Did they know the terrain? I mean, you have to know all the ins and outs when you do something like this, right? Was it somebody who knew the family? I mean, I don't. They're saying this was a targeted thing, not a not a spontaneous thing. Was this targeted? You know, was it targeted? Was it something where this was basically something where it wasn't this? I think this was a one-off. I think this was targeted, to be honest, and I don't know. I just don't know what is it that they literally. What is it that they that you know that they're seeing? What is it? I don't know. But it's a very good possibility, Gene. Border. But once again, like, I mean, are people gonna risk their lives to take out an old lady? I don't know. I don't know. Anybody else? What do you guys think? Anybody got any other theories? Gene just proposed one that, hey, it's very, very probable. Very probable. Is she linked to the Air Force general who has also gone missing? I don't think so. I don't think so. The Air Force general that was from Wright Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, then went missing in, I think it's New Mexico. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I say I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think there's any correlation in those two individuals. It's true. Definitely, Gene, her mom was a easy target. But once again, that layout of, I mean, you guys have seen the front of that house. You've seen all those boulders, all those rocks. My God, I'd broken my ankles just trying to walk there, even in the daytime. How do you even get around sneakily getting around trying to go ahead and literally, you know, I find it very, I almost feel like it's somebody that had to know. It could be the 3 people that were staying at the Airbnb or that rental house up the hill. Savannah's brother is in the Air Force. Yes, he is. Yes, he is, Gene. He was a pilot. He retired from the National Guard. He flew F-16s. Yes, he definitely was. All right, everybody, give me a second. I got to go in and use the head. Give me 1 second, please. Alrighty, I am back. All right. Yeah, Savannah's brother was in the Air Force and the National Guard, retired, flew F-16s. I think I read something where his net worth was like 2 million, 2 point some million. Yes, no doubt about it, Gene. It's all just hush. And I mean, look, I get it on some things. I just don't like it on a lot of things. Let me see here. Somebody sent a message that they're wanting me to read before I post it. So let me see. I do. Thank you for that message. Um, yeah, they did. They sure did, because nothing is being done. You don't hear nothing from the family. I'm not sure what the siblings, what her kids. I'm wondering what her kids could say or do, other than, I mean, they pleaded so much for the release of the mom. They've asked so many things of the people, and yet nothing is resonating. So it makes me wonder. That's why I still believe early in this process she was unalived. Early in this process she was unalived. I still believe that. And I only say that not because to be this. They accomplished that goal by hurting, no doubt about it. They really did. Um, and I think that's where we come in as citizens, as people who care, as people who can look at these, this could have been our mother, our love. This could have been someone we cared about, you know. So the idea that, we can all resonate to what has happened. We can all look at it and say, man, that could have been someone I cared about. Gene says, Savannah back to New York, so she's probably protected out there. I'll bet Anna and Tommaso are out there too. Yeah, I know that someone drove by their house, a podcaster drove by their house and said that lights were on. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. Said lights were on. So, yeah, I don't know. I forgot if that was Dad's Gone Live or if that was a podcaster, Mark the Shark. I don't know. I just know that someone went live and said that the lights were on. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to find out, no doubt about it. Give me a sec. So I woke up this morning with a really bad low back pain. Very bad low back pain. And man, that thing is just like making me really, really discomfort. I feel horrible, says Gene. I feel horrible for the family family. Can't imagine how. I know, I know exactly what you're saying. If I were the family knowing what's going on, I would be scared to death. So I would guess they're hiding out, especially if they have kids. Yeah, and I think they both do. I don't know about Cameron. I think he lives in like Rhode Island or New Hampshire, somewhere up east, up northeast. But Annie, I think they have one son, I think, and Annie and Tabasco, and I think Savannah has 2 kids with her current husband. So yeah, I could see that. Gene says, could it be kidneys? They needed kidneys. I mean, yeah, I mean, you always have that probable possibility. I just wonder how well her kidneys were if she was on dialysis, or not. I'm sorry, not dialysis. She was on blood thinners, and she had a pacemaker, and she was 84 years old. I mean, I'm not sure that would be like a hot commodity, but anything's better than nothing, right? For your low back pain, you tell me. I've put some military hot cream. I have put cold packs. I have done everything. It is like throbbing. Your kidneys. No, it's not the kidneys. My kidneys are, I'm afraid to knock on wood. I think they're fine. No, it's not my kidneys. I've always had a bad back since I got out of the military. Jumping off those tanks all those years, and yeah, it just it does a lot to your back. Those tanks are not small. So yeah, I don't know, man. I just know that I woke up and I don't even know what the hell I did, but my gosh, that sucker hurts. But anyway, enough about me. There's other things more important. So what about, anybody else have any theory as what could this be, literally? What could this be? Any thoughts? Think on that thought. If there's anything else it could be, any theories? That one took a little longer than normal. Wow. It will be interesting if they ever... It will be interesting if they ever find out what really happened. I hope it's made more people realize you have to really protect yourselves nowadays. Well said, Dean. I agree. I agree. I mean, life's too short. Life is way too short, you know? And I totally agree. You know, one of the things that, you know, there's so many different scenarios that could have happened. And just, you know, in my professional experience, like you ask, what's the one motive do you think that could have been a part of this? And I literally say the one motive obviously is money, right? It's money. It is money. I think money is the one motive that seems to fit every narrative to some extent. You guys believe that? I mean, you guys think that? I mean, if it's the cartel, it's got to be about money. If it's somebody in the family, it's got to be about money. If it's somebody who knew that she was vulnerable, it's got to be about money. The money has to be the number one issue as to why they went ahead and did something like this to an 84-year-old lady. Yeah. You know? Yeah, I hear you what you say on that kidney infection. It's just, I hurt my back so many times. I mean, I shouldn't say hurt it. I have always had issues with my back. I had kidney stones and stuff like that. But this is just literally in my low back where I always have that pain. But here's another thought. Do you think it was and I know I don't believe this, what I'm about to say, but it is a theory that some have put out there. Do you think it was a satanic cult, a ritual? Do you think, you remember those people that showed up, those Gothic people that were dressing Gothic? You know, the lady with the short shorts showing her ass everywhere, taking photos, the guy that was taking all the photos, they were dressed all in black. Do you think it could have been that? Do you think it could have been something dealing with Satan? I don't think so, personally. I think they were just wanting attention, and so they went ahead and, you know, used that as a platform to get attention. But do you think at all that had something to do with it? What's your all's take? Anybody? Do you think it was something to do with a satanic cult? They did have, here, I believe it was on the 7th of February, they did have some type of satanic ritual party of some sort. I forgot what the hell it was called, but, you know, there was people that were tied into this case that were there. Matter of fact, that lady with the ass hanging out, she was there. The guy who was taking the photographer pictures, he was there. A guy by the name of Mojito, I believe he was the disc jockey. You know, the disc jockey guy, he was there, and he knows people. He knows people within that circle. So it makes you wonder, you know, like, could it have been something like that? You know? I don't know. I really don't know. Song, hey, there you are. Haven't heard from you. I think the perp has come back to the property if he lives in the area. I agree with that wholeheartedly, Song. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think that perp has literally been coming there, just seeing from the beginning of when everything was going crazy to now where there's not a whole lot of people there. I really believe that perp has literally been coming there. No doubt in my mind. if anything, to gloat. See, that's what I was thinking about, that the Gothic people. I thought that was a slap in the face. You know what I mean? That was a slap in the face. That was a rub, because Nancy was so religious that, they're Gothic, satanic type. It was a slap in her face. So disgusting. They may have even been part of the search team. We've known that has happened before, right? We know that has happened before, where somebody in the search, who's searching for somebody, is actually the perp, just hearing where everything's at. We've heard that before, so I wouldn't doubt that. Drinking a lot of water makes you go. Think about that for a minute. Is there any other thing you think could be it? Appreciate that comment, no doubt. All right, everybody. Let's try something different. Let me ask you a question to everybody in here, okay? Let me ask you this question. Who thinks that Tomasco, Annie Guthrie's husband, had anything to do with it? Does anybody think Tommaso had anything to do with this? Give me your take if you think Tommaso had anything to do with it. And if you can, put a little bit of meat on the bone and tell me why. Put a little bit of meat on the bone and tell me why. Do you think Tommaso had anything to do with it? Annie Guthrie's husband. Anybody? Anybody at all? Let's try this route. Go back to the beginning. Do we think Tommaso had anything to do with it? It's always possible, but if he didn't have anything to do with this, my heart does go out to him because of all the defamation of character. No, I know. I agree. There has been a lot of fingers being pointed his direction, Now, understand that I have always said, in order for me to clear anybody, I would have to be able, someone would have to tell me why those pictures of him dropping off Nancy at her home at 9:30 p.m. after leaving their house, having dinner and playing games and whatnot. I would need to see or need to know that they were literally, that's how I could eliminate them, at least from that aspect. Until I could get that information, then it would be hard for me, even as a sheriff, to eliminate anybody, But you're right. You're definitely right. I mean, that the defamation and the finger pointing, yeah, I mean, when you're talking about a family member, man, I don't care if you're the son-in-law or the daughter-in-law, it hits home. But very good, very good. Thank you, Song. Appreciate that. Anybody else think it was Tommaso? Anybody else? The song of my heart said it's possible, but defamation is definitely an issue if it's not. And I agree with her 110%. So no one else thinks it was Tommaso. Okay? How about, do you think, I'm just going to go down the line here. Do you think Derek Kalea had anything to do with it? Derek Kalea. He was the guy that sent that text to Annie and Tommaso about if they had the Bitcoin yet so they could make the exchange. He was later arrested in California where he lived through an IP address. They arrested him and charged him basically for being an opportunist, trying to capitalize on somebody's poor situation, if you will, for better lack of words. Gene says, I can't imagine it would be. They wouldn't need money. The family has it. Well, there's been a lot of information out there that Annie and Tommaso were very in debt up to their eyeballs. Now, I threw the eyeballs in, but that they were very in debt. And that's why at one point Nancy was going to move in with them, because she was getting older and she would help with the cost. That's why she had put her house up for sale and then went ahead and took it down. Don't know really the reason other than to say, maybe they had a falling out. Maybe, she just said, no, I don't want to do this, So that is, it's always tough when you look at family, right? Always tough. Anybody else? Anybody else have an opinion? Because that they did come out and report, there was report made that Annie and Tommaso were really strapped. Now, I don't know how true it is. I just know that's what's been reported. So, but hey, if they aren't strapped, kudos to them. Kudos to them. Okay, Gene says also, possibly could be his friend. You would think Tommaso would say something if something was going on. True, true. I mean, you definitely would say something. I mean, there has been a tie with some of these people of interest to Tommaso. And I have to go back and look at the list as who was all tied together at some capacity, in some capacity. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a tough one. Good comment, Gene. Thank you. Song says, if there was death on purpose or accident, why would they remove the body? Only if there was DNA on the body of evidence that would link that person's responsibilities. I agree. Point well taken, no doubt. No doubt. If there was a death on purpose or not, why would they remove the body? Only if there was DNA on the body. Yeah. See, that's true. That's true. That's why I kind of go back, honestly, and I look at the theory that I have proposed, that she was in a vehicle screaming for help. The driver, the three people that were in that car with them, 2 men and a woman, is what I'm thinking. Those were three people of interest, the three perps. But I believe that it's very possible that she started yelling and screaming. The driver or somebody said, shut her up, because someone's going to hear her and we're going to get caught. Somebody then goes and strikes her, maybe with a fist, maybe with the gun or something, to shut up. And she ends up going ahead and her heart can't take it and she dies. At that point, everybody gets all shooken up, like they don't know what to do, because that was not in the game plan. But now their meal ticket, their ransom money, they're never going to be able to do a proof of life, which means they're never going to go ahead and get any money, because you got to have a proof of life in order to get any money. Okay, so yeah, I mean, that's why the body, I believe maybe the body was already in the car. They said, we got to get this body out of here ASAP. Okay, they put it in an area that they know, in that area, maybe a little shallow little hole, and then come back 2 hours later. Now, that's why it's crucial for me to find out when that 911 call was made. From the time the 911 call was made to the time that the officers actually found that vehicle, that blue vehicle, and said it was nothing, it was just a verbal domestic, no big deal, no harm, no foul type of deal. Well, yeah, because you're seeing three people in the car, but you're not seeing that fourth person. In this case, in my opinion, it's just an opinion and a theory. You're not seeing Nancy in there because they already got rid of her, because they were afraid they'd get caught with her. Ironically, they get stopped. They're able to locate that vehicle. They find out. And guess what? It's not what you always see. It's what you don't see. That's a kicker. So, yeah, very well point. Good point. I mean, I can see that. So, my thing is, maybe she was taken because they were going to take her to a place where they were going to do the ransom and everything, right? Like, be able to communicate with until she was unalive. And then it was like, oh God, that's a moot point. And now it's almost like, how do we wash our hands from this? It's possible, very possible. Was she being, I don't know. She might have. I mean, they don't have the body. I don't even know if maybe they found some syringes. Maybe that's one of the clues that the investigators found was syringes, or some type of stuff that makes you fall asleep. Maybe they found some things and they don't want to tell anybody because the only person that would know how they got her to comply was by giving her this injection. It's a theory, but so I don't know. It's probable. Gene, had these questions, had they questioned his friend? Well, when they did question the very first guy, they did talk to the two band members of Tommaso. They never cleared them, but they did talk to them. They did arrest Derek Kalea. They did arrest him in California, FBI. They apparently talked to the family because the sheriff cleared them, right? So I'm not sure. Like, here's the thing. I would have turned that whole thing upside down on its head. I would have looked at everybody that knew Tommaso, everybody. And then I would have turned those people's lives and I would have known everybody that each one of those people knew and see if I could have found some type of response when questioning these people, reading body language, reading their, doing your interrogations, and then, go from there. But I just think that calling it so soon that all the family was cleared, I don't think that's even possible to say. Gene, we all are strapped right now. I work 2 jobs. Amen. Been there, done that. I hear you. Song says, if they were to find her body, what evidence would be there? This would be why they took her if she was already deceased before she left the house. Well, I mean, I don't think that they went in there with the intentions of sexually assaulting her. But if they did, they would, you could always look at bodily fluids. I don't think that was the motive. So that's why I don't look at that. But it's very possible. That would be one reason why you would take the body. 2, you would take the body because maybe someone punched her, cut his hand on her face, mouth, or whatever. Blood kind of got on her. The process of trying to think of cleaning it up was not even there because of the, situation. So maybe, just maybe, the idea is that they went ahead and literally, I don't know. But that is possible. That is possible what you're saying. But that would be why they would have done it. Or had her in a trunk. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You just can't rule out anything. You can't rule out anything because anything is a clue that we don't have, right? Anything's a clue that we don't have right now. So you can't rule anything out. But yeah, my thing was maybe they came back after she had passed when she was in that blue vehicle. They came back like 2 hours later, put her in the trunk, grabbed her, put her in the trunk, hauled ass somewhere else out in the desert, buried her, and said, man, let's not ever talk about this again. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's very probable. So yeah, there's a lot of different theories there, but you know, you got to ask that question. Let me see here. Show. Song says, with such a high reward, I'm surprised the professional trackers aren't looking for her. Maybe most of the reward is based on finding her life and bringing her home and catching the perps. That's possible, no doubt. I mean, the money's there to hire their private people to investigate. But if I'm not mistaken, when they put that reward up, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Savannah say something to the effect of, you know, you can still go ahead and do the right thing. We just want to be able to celebrate with her, for, you know, that she's home, or we want to be able to celebrate her for a life well lived. Remember, she said something to that effect, and so that would tell me probably it wouldn't matter as long as they got the body back. Because I, you know, something like this, that has to be something that is really knee deep in somebody's emotions, plays on your emotions, right? What could we have done different? What could we have done better? Yeah, that's what I took, Song. That's what I took. That the way it sounded was that she was deceased, or they have started to come to terms with the fact that she may have been deceased, and so they just wanted the body back. You know, if she was alive, great, they'll celebrate that, and if she was deceased, well, you know what? They'll celebrate the fact that she lived a great life. You know, that makes sense. Yes, just wanted to bring her home and bury her. Yes, give her that resting place. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good feedback there. What about what about Luke Daly? Does anybody think, are we done with Tomasco and Derek Kalela? And if anybody wants to bring any of those up as to why do you think that they may be involved, let us know. Let anybody can go ahead and jump in and let us know. But let's talk about Luke Daly. Tell me what you think. I'll be right back. Oh, my bad. So what do we got here? The way it was worded for the family. True, true. No doubt about it. No doubt about it, everybody. What about Luke Daly? Does anybody think Luke Daly had anything to do with this, in your opinion? And if so, why? We're just going to go through all these different people of interest. Share this out to everybody too, guys. Share this out with your friends, with other people. share this out to them to get them also come aboard and get involved. If you guys have not joined, subscribe, do so. It doesn't cost you anything, not asking for anything other than a conversation to try to figure this out and get everybody's different views of opinion. So with that, let's get back to it. Does anybody think Luke Daly? Luke was suspect enough to be pulled over and investigated. So maybe. Very true. And here's the other thing. You know what I'd like to know? I would like to know what was what was the evidence that they used to do the search warrant on his truck and the house of his and where his mother lived. What is the reasoning? Like, you got to have probable cause, right? You got to have reasons to believe that what you're looking for is there. So the question I would ask, or the question I'd like to know is, what was it? You know, what was, if anybody gets that, let me know. I know it's public information. I'm a little ways away from Arizona, but it's public information, right? And just to know what they used as a reasoning to issue a warrant, because that warrant's got to be signed by a judge. So, you know what I mean? Because then if they had enough reason to suspect that he was a suspect and they needed to search his place, then they had to have something affiliated with him and Nancy, right? It would only make sense, I would think. Tell me what you think, everybody. That's very interesting for me. And I know it's interesting for you all. Yes, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, I really want to know that. Truly want to know that. Give me a second. Let's see. So Does anybody else have any takes on whether they think Luke Daly was involved? Because, yeah, that's one of my number one top on my list is Luke Daly. And I've already shared to y'all why. Doesn't mean that he's guilty, doesn't mean that he did it. Just with all the evidence that we do have, he just fits that profile, that he just fits that. Everything that he did, everything that he said, everything that, when he was stopped, the first things that came out of his mouth to the officers, what he confirmed with Brianna Whitney in the interview she did with him. Man, it's like, God, that guy didn't do any favors for himself. Song says he's definitely a possibility. Anybody else? Anybody else have any ideas or any, like, what do you think about Luke? There's got to be a lot more people than that. Come on now. Jump right in. This is a friendly platform, man. Don't get any friendlier than this. Okay, well. How many think, if you come back to something that jumps at you, by all means, please say something. Okay, say something. Let us know, because we'll go back. We're just trying to go down the line. So the next thing is, who thinks that maybe that couple dressed in all dark gothic that was there out front of Nancy's house, taking photo shoots in front of the house, having these yellow flowers in her hand, who never put them down at the shrine of Nancy Guthrie's? Almost like it was just a mockery. How many think that they were involved? I think her name was like Kiki. She went by the name Kiki, and I don't know what his name was. I think I would want to see what they posted after their goth photo shoot and read their content. Yeah, I would too. One of the podcasters, I guess, had located her and looked at her. I don't know if she had a Facebook or what, but found her in that one thing that they had for the satanic festival party or whatever in the hell it was. He had located her in the picture, and she was there. And a lot of other podcasters had come out and said, "Oh no, this is her right here," and the guy was there with her, and it was really disgusting because it was really like, it's almost like a satanic whips and chains and torturing, sexual, all that stuff. Okay, so with that, how many of you think maybe they were involved? But I would love to see that. I never pulled it up because I didn't know where to really go. I just took, these podcasts that talked about it. I did see some of the videos that they had. I did see some of the pictures, but I never seen the actual account of these people to be able to make a one way or another decision. You know what I mean? Anybody else have any takes on the Gothic twins? That's what I call them now, the Gothic twins. Anybody have any take on them? Okay. Well, let's move right along. How about the three people that were staying at the top of the hill? I think it's 3 houses down from Nancy's house. It was an Airbnb rental. An Airbnb and or rental. and they were going ahead and they were literally in there. And then literally after this happened, where she was reportedly been abducted December 31st to January, boy, my days are wrong. January 31st to February 1st, one of those days, she was abducted. Okay, so you know what I mean? They split, they left, they like literally got out and dodged, these three individuals. Can't locate who owns the property, don't know their names, their name has never been revealed. They are, apparently I heard that they were looking for these three individuals, but one had literally took off back to Mexico. That's just what someone said. I don't even know if it's true or not. And then the other two, one of them is still driving around that area, so I'm not sure if they ever made contact with them. You know what I mean? So then I guess the question becomes, which one is it, you know? Like, what do you think about them? Do you think they use that place, as some have suggested? Even the investigators have suggested they could have used that place up the hill to map out Nancy's house, her path, her movements, all of that. They could have used that, you know, that place to literally do all that stuff. Maybe they went in there and took her, brought her back into that house, waited for things, you know, to kind of calm down, then got out and dodged the next day. I mean, that is a theory that's put out there by some of the investigators. That's why they're looking for these people. What do you all think? Anyone think that could be a possibility? A song says, yes, the people that were renting and moved out the day after she was missing, I would definitely want to know what was in the U-Haul. Amen. You got it. Well said, song. Yeah, I kind of think that these people are very important. Once again, they had a U-Haul. I'm sure there's some type of videos from houses. I'm sure there's videos of them driving by, leaving. I'm sure they should be able to locate this people of interest. So then the question becomes, why haven't we heard anything? You know, and if they did talk to them and they literally ruled that they were, you know, legit, that they had nothing to do with this, well, then tell the people, yay, we stopped these people. And yes, we talked to them, we interviewed them, we interrogated them, and nothing was there. There was nothing that we could hold them because there was nothing there. There was no there burger, as some would say. So I think at that point, people would at least say, well, they cover that avenue. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing. It's all about trust. It's all about trust. It's all about what the people see you doing. If they see you doing nothing, then they think nothing is being done. I don't care if you have, you know, boxes and boxes of evidence stored somewhere, you know, going through this case. If the people don't have the faith in you, then you're already done. The people must believe that their law enforcement is working for them. So even if they talk to these people, a simple, yes, we made contact with these three individuals, we detained them and talked to them and interviewed them, and nothing came back, there was nothing there, we couldn't find anything in correlation, therefore we released them. End of story. If we need to get back with them, we know where they're staying, we know where they live, we will get back with them. Just something so basic and simple that the people can say, well, at least they checked out that lead. You know what I mean? It's these little things that they could do to make things so much better. So much better. Song says yes. Here. So, anybody else have any takes on the 3 people that were literally renting or at the Airbnb up the hill in that house that was only like 3 down from Nancy? Could they have been casing the joint? Are they somebody you would think that would need to be looked at and looked at heavily? You know, anybody else got an opinion? Come on, I know it's not just me and Song. Come on. What do you all think, honestly? Anybody? Okay. Well, if that comes back to your mind and you feel like, hey, I want to be able to, something came up and I think that it's important, so therefore I'm going to go ahead and you know, I'm going to go ahead and say something. Well then, hey, there it is. And Airbnb have cameras outside, at least, no doubt. I mean, got a lot of evidence that you could gain, right? A lot of evidence that you can gain. So why not get it? Why not go ahead and get it? I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know why. You know what I mean? Anybody else? And Airbnb does have cameras, no doubt. Anybody else got any takes? If you are new and you want to get into this conversation, hey, just subscribe for free. Doesn't cost you anything. Click like and get in this conversation. Trying to figure out, where is Nancy Guthrie? Where is Nancy Guthrie? Going back to the beginning, part 6. So that's the other thing, right? I mean, as you can see, there's a lot of suspects here, a lot of people of interest. Literally, a lot of people of interest. What about the guy that was trying to get to the back of that house by the fence? I think Doug a podcaster somebody put the video out. They released that video, but Doug went ahead and enhanced it. And that guy, they got a perfect picture of that individual. Now, the kicker with him is that he had two backpacks on. He had that same type of jacket on that was, or looked like what the perp was wearing at front of Nancy Guthrie's home. The owners of the house called the police. The police came out. And they went ahead and made contact with this guy. This guy said he was just coming home from work. He was going in, putting some stuff away. So I guess they bought it and they left. That individual ended up leaving away from the house. And there was a car real close by. It looked like like a little silver Nissan or something. But he passes that car and goes straight to the back. Now, when Doug enhanced that picture, lo and behold, there was a white Kia Soul. A white Kia Soul, same white Kia Soul that was seen speeding through when Nancy Guthrie was taken from the door cams. What do y'all think? You think he is a probable suspect? What is your take on that? What is your take? Could he be the suspect? Gene says, yes, he had the same jacket on. What's the odds? They might want to go see if he has the same tat on his arm. Totally agree, Gene. Totally agree. The guy had the same type of jacket. The guy actually had the same type of body look. The type of facial structure, if you will. And then the guy, when the cops let him go, the owners came out later and said that guy didn't live there. So we know he didn't belong there. They said that guy was trying to break into our house, but the cops had released him. So then the question becomes, is he a prime suspect? And I would say, hell yeah, he's a prime suspect. No doubt about it. Yeah. So to go ahead and the cops to make contact with him, and that was during the same time. That was only I think a half a mile away from Nancy Guthrie's home. That was at the same time. When I say same time, within that time frame of when Nancy Guthrie went missing. What are the odds of that? Give me a second. Got to get something. Give me a second. I'm back. Anybody else got any takes on that individual that was in the backyard? Let's see what we have here. Yep, okay. So we're going through the people that are probable persons of interest. We started from the beginning and we are working our way around. That's what we are doing. So let's see where we're at. Oh no, that's good. See where we're at. Anybody else? So we are going through the list of people who were either suspects, been detained and interviewed, persons of interest. We're going through all these people because we want to know what people think as far as, and what meat on the bone can we put on there as to, you know, who it was, or, you know, do we feel like maybe that person should be investigated? I mean, we don't decide those things, obviously, but, you know, it would sure as hell help understand why these people are not being talked to. Anybody? So we're all in well, I shouldn't say we all, but we all have pretty good reasons why. Let's move on to the next person. Let's see. We've covered, I'm trying to see who else we need to cover here. Do you think it was maybe a gardener, a housekeeper, a nurse, you know, someone who was giving her pills? I guess she used to live at the pool house before Nancy got rid of her. Possibly even a roofer, somebody who installed her cameras. I'm going to group those together. Anybody that worked at Nancy Guthrie's home on those type of things. Do you think any one of them, just in general, could have played a role in her abduction? What do y'all think? What do you all think? Could there have been a role for someone like that? Because that's all we're trying to do, is go through and find out all these people who were either questioned or looked at or talked to or whatnot. Do you think it was any of those people? Not hearing a whole lot. Come on, everybody. Do you think, I mean, here probably in the next few weeks, we're going to be doing call-ins where I'm going to be calling people and asking them if they want to come on live, and we'll be having a conversation. So that's probably going to happen within a week or two. But before we get there, I want to go ahead and see where you all are at this point. But that is going to eventually happen. So we will be going, you know, not just live, but having that conversation and being able to have that conversation as to, you know, what do you all think, you know, and literally having everybody hear what you have to say. Don't forget, click like. Gotta click like. Support the channel. Subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Just having that conversation, having you here is good enough for me. That's what I want to do, is try to figure out where we can have really a logical conversation and explanation, you know, an idea of what could have happened, what might have happened. Anything. Build that base, everybody. Pass this on to your friends. Pass this on to your other, people that you watch, and tell them about the channel. If you like the channel, tell them about it. Pass the word out. Get that word out. The more people, the better, because we get to have more of that conversation, have more opinions, have more ideas. Jesus fuck me. Let's see what we got. Definitely got to go get gas. My God, I got to get gas. Gas is so damn expensive right now. It's not even funny. Gas prices are off the roof. Literally off the roof. Okay, let's see where we're at. Give me a second, because I gotta go get some fuel. All right, let's see where we're at. Okay. Gene says, absolutely, if it wasn't a paid hit, I hope they talk to all of them. No doubt about it, Gene. No doubt about it. Agree with you 110%. If she had a paid worker for a reputable service, they should all be done backgrounds. Amen. No doubt about that. I mean, that just goes without saying, right? That goes without saying. Song says, oh, wow, this is the cheapest I've seen it like forever. Oh my Lord. Hurry up and get in here. Give me a second, because I want to read yours off, Song. But I do have to get this fuel. It's probably the lowest in town right here in Marathon. Damn. Another All right, where are we at now? Had to get some gas here. Man, it was the cheapest in town. So normally right now $3.99. Oh. All right, let's see what song says. Jehovah's Witnesses go door to door using a specific map and keep track of who's home and who's not. If houses are vacant, if someone is home but hiding. Interesting. Never really thought about that, to be honest, Jehovah's Witnesses, but you're right. They do that, no doubt. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? Jehovah's Witnesses going in and wow. They even write down if it looks like no one lives there. And then they are cobwebs on the front door. Sometimes I'll put a little piece of paper in the door to see if someone removes it. That's a good little trick, no doubt about it. Song says, sorry, that should read, they put a piece of paper in the door. Got you. You're good. Still love the comment. Thank you, Song. Appreciate you. Johanna. I hope I said it right. If I butchered it, I apologize. Johanna. I'm just going to call you Jay. How about that? Johanna Bigman. Hi, how are you doing, Johanna? Thank you so much for being in here. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. They used to go through areas every 3 months, like clockwork. I don't know how it works now. It's a very good point, Song. That's a very good point. I mean, here's the thing. You can't rule anything out, right? You can't rule anything out because we don't have much to go by. So, good deal. I like that. Way to think outside that box. Johanna, what's your take, Johanna? So we started talking about the possible people of interest in the taking of the abduction of Nancy Guthrie, and we're trying to get ideas. We went through the beginning of the people, and we're now down to people who we may think. You got any opinions on that, Johanna? Any opinions at all? Guys, once again, if you click like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, it'll just tell you when I'm going live. And you guys, the ones that are in here, have been awesome. Everybody I've gotten has been awesome. And we just want to have that conversation. I'm not asking for any donations, money, or nothing. Just want your guys' time and process and trying to figure out what the hell happened to Nancy and why we're not getting what we're getting or what we should be getting. So that's what it's all about. Don't have to pay anything. Not like some of the people that you watch on podcasting that they have you pay this, that, and the other. No. This is all, just is for all conversation with everybody. Appreciate you all. They used to go through areas. Okay, we got that. Anything, Johanna? Anything you want to add? I'm glad you're in here. Thank you so much. So that's where we're at now. We are at the point of no return. I'm just kidding. They used to go through areas. Clockwork. Okay. So basically, in a nutshell, that's what we're at. That's what we're trying to figure out. And we're going down the list of possible people of interest, people who may have had the opportunity or the means or the reasons behind it. Let me ask you something. How about, I didn't say anything about Tommaso's friends. the two other band members. I don't think they were talked to by the sheriff's department. I'm not sure how they ruled, but I don't know. What do you think about that? There's just the two individuals that played in the band. I think they don't on my list anymore. But you don't have much to go for. Rule that you don't think. Next thing you know, you don't have anybody. Jump right in. Have that conversation, man. Let's have that conversation. Jump right in. Tell me what you think. Man, I'm getting hungry. I am getting hungry. God, gas is just too expensive. My Lord. All right, here we go. Let's see where we're at. Anybody got any theory on who it could be? We covered a lot of people already. No doubt about it. We covered a lot of people. Let me think. I'll be right back. Let me think. See if I can think outside the box and who else could be in that list. If you guys can think of anybody on that list, bring it up, because I want to know everybody and anybody who may be a potential person of interest. No, I didn't leave. Sorry, everybody. Jesus God, these people take forever. My Lord. Unbelievable. All right, where are we at? Let's see here. Imagine their tollway says, see, here we are, tollway. Gene says, imagine their tollway systems out there. I wonder if they checked any of those cameras at the time she was taken or they took local roads. I mean, I heard people talk about, when I say people, I heard this being something that they had looked into. My only question was, did they even get the route of some of these people like Tomasco and others? Did they get their routes of how they went home when they got to Nancy's, you know? I mean, you're right. They should have cameras pretty much everywhere for the most part. But I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. Wow. I did not see it at all. But you're right. Good question there, Gene. Good question. How about that? I'm enjoying my conversations with everybody. Celtic Pad, you've been on a while. Said hi. How you doing, Celtic Pad? Good to have you here. Yeah. Capture Dandy just told me to end my stream. Wow. Maybe I don't want to end my stream. Right? Maybe I don't want to end my stream. So that's where, I don't know if anybody can hear me, but yeah, we were disconnected somehow. I don't know how, but it happened. So yeah, that's where we're at, everybody. That's what's going on. Let me see here. Alrighty. Celtic Pat just joined. Good deal. Hello, Celtic Pat. Song says, if a person does not follow, yeah, no, I know. That's what I don't understand. You know, Savannah works, if I'm not mistaken, for the NBC, right? So I'm not sure they're not covering anything. Yeah, it just makes you wonder what's really happening here. No doubt about it. All right, everybody. I am going to go ahead and call this live. We just lost connection. And yeah. Got to be them damn data centers. No problem. No doubt about it. We lost live. We lost connection. We got connection back. So, yeah. Can you guys hear me? Can anybody hear me? Just to make sure that we're all on the same sheet, can you hear me? Houston, can you hear me? Celtic Pat, can you hear me? Is there anybody out there? All right. All right, everybody. I am going to go ahead and call this live. It's been great. I appreciate all of you. Appreciate every one of you who have asked questions, participated, and whatnot. You guys are great. Thank you so much. Probably be going live again this evening. Oh, probably at about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock p.m. I'll be going live. So we'll see you back then. Other than that, thank you so much. God bless. Stay safe. And don't give up hope. At the end of the day, it's all about trying to find out where Nancy is and getting her home one way or the other. So with that, thank you, everybody. As I always say, it's all common sense. Literally all common sense. Semper Fi, everybody.